Alright, welcome to Algebra 2, Mod 3, Unit 9, and Lesson 5 now. We're going to build some logarithms. So our open exercise basically says find the value of the following expressions without using a calculator. Well, we know this thing is actually what power of 10 to the 1,000, and we know that's equal to x. So the old-fashioned way was we would write 10 raised to the x equals 1,000. You know 10 to the x is equal to 10 to the third, so your answer was x is equal to 3. And if I do log base 10 of 1,000, it's going to turn out to be the same thing, because this will also be 10 to the x equals 1,000, and when you get done doing the work, x will also turn out to be 3. So I want you to pause the video and finish these right here. Give them a try, and we'll come back to you on this. So in this case, what power of 10 is 100? You should get 2. Log base 10 of 100 is 2. What power of 10 of the 10 is 1? Log base 10 of 10 is 1. Log base 10 of 1, of course, is 0, because you do 10 to the x equals 1, and so that has to be replaced with 10 to the 0, and so x is 0. And same thing, log base 10 of 1 will turn out to be 0. 1/10 will be the reciprocal, so it will turn out to be -1. Log also -1. This is -2. This one will be -2. So formulate come up with a rule. Here's what they want you to do. What if k is an integer? What can you do? What do you think? So pause and think about it, write that down. I'll come right back on this. Okay, I hope you realize the way it's working out is it would be k. Whatever that integer is, that's what it is. Okay? That's our general rule. Alright, moving on. So this is a little summary page here to give you what we've learned so far, just coming up with the rules, such that 10 to the 14 will turn out to be 14. 10 to the 6, if you do a log, is 6. 20, 10 to the 20th, it will turn out to be 20. You can, if you wanted to multiply them like this times this, it's the same thing as the log of the one plus the log of the other. So if you're actually doing it, it would be the log of 20 when you put it together. And that's what you're discovering here as you go along. 14 plus 6 is 20. Okay? So generalized rule, if you're multiplying log of 10 to something and 10 to something, it's the same thing as adding them, which is the same thing as just pulling them out and adding them that way. Okay? Follow basic rules of logarithms. Alright, so find two consecutive powers of 10 such that 30 is between them. This is an integer exponent k, so that k is 10 to the k and k plus 1. So if I start off with numbers here, I think you guys will agree that 10 to the first is 10, and 30 is smaller than that. And if I do 1, if k is 1 plus 1, that means that's 10 squared, which is equal to 100. So 30 definitely falls between those two. So my k is equal to 1. Now if I extend it on to this next one, if k is 1, you know that the exponent k, what two integers does it go through? 10 to the first, and log of 30 falls between that, and 10 squared. So, bottom line, between 1 and 2 is the log of 30. So now I would fool around a little bit on the calculator and try to get a little bit closer. 10 to what power? They want you to go out to the first decimal spot then. So 1 point what? We've done charts like that before. If you play around with this, you can pause the video and play around with it. But the bottom line is, you'll get it comes between 1.4 and 10 to the 1.5. So, the nearest tenth, this one actually turns out to be 25.1189, which is smaller than 30, and 1.5 is 31.6228, which is bigger. And it's getting closer to it, but we didn't want to go over. And it says, let's see, if over and under estimates we got. So it's approximately 1.4 something, okay? But it doesn't quite hit 1.5. If we take it out to the next step, you will find that it goes out 10 to the 1.47. That's 29.5121. That's where 30 is between, and 1.48. So 30 is definitely between 29 and 30.1995. So now you know we're definitely in that range, so it's 1.47 something K is. Keeps going. All right. Go out to 4 decimal spots and you try that. I'm just going to give you the answer. You go through this. You will actually find out that K turns out to be about 1.4771 if you kept playing that game. So that's what log of 30 will turn out to be about. Okay, now if you do it on the calculator, you actually will get the log of 30 is, rounded off, 1.4771. So we don't have to do the guessing game, but we can come up with it in that process, as well as obviously you can punch it in the calculator. Alright, you're going to need to pause the video because I'm going to put the entire table on there to save time, and then we're going to start answering questions. So you can go into the calculator and do log of 1, log of 2 and practice it, or just copy it off of me. Alright, so what patterns now from this table that you copied down can you see from exercise 7 as x is multiplied by 10? So if I take a 1, and then we go to 10, we get 1, and we get 100, we get 2, etc. So 2 times 10 is 20, gives me this. So you notice what's going on. 3 times 10 is 30. You go from 0.47171 to 1.4771. From 0.6021 to 1.6021. So hopefully you are recognizing that the pattern is that log 10 of x is equal to 1 plus the log of x. So whatever the log of x is, all I got to do is add 1 on. Okay? And if I add the 100, log 100x is the same thing as adding 2 onto the log of x. And that's the third column, if you go from this column to this column. So, what is a log of 1,000x? Well, log of 1,000x will equal 3, obviously, plus log of whatever x is. So then you get the k's, etc. If it's a positive, any positive value, obviously then you will do k plus log of x. Now, once again, we got a bunch of tables to fill out. So pause the video as soon as it pops up, fill out your table. Alright, so open your copy down the table. Now we can answer some questions about it. What patterns can you see in the table from exercise 11 here? Take those tables. So here's 1 through 9, same ones we had before. Then log of x, what if it's 0.1? Turns out to be negative 1, negative 0.69, etc. And then this one here, 0.01 is negative 2. So what do you think is going on there? So hopefully you know that basically I've got the log of x over 10. You're dividing by 10 every time. And all you're doing is taking negative 1 for if you're dividing by 10 plus the log of x. Which means I actually have to subtract it off. It's not adding it. It doesn't turn out this time like here's 2, which is 0.30 there, and you tell me negative, 1.30, blah, blah, blah. It isn't. You got to subtract this from negative 1. So negative 1 added onto this gives me this. And then when I go 2 decimal spots, and I do log of x divided by 100, then that's negative 2 plus log of x is the rule. So 2 decimal spots going negative, you add negative 2 on to the original. It still comes down to this original log of the basic bases. So applying it number 13, what would the log of that be? Well, you're going to be the negative 3 plus log of x. That's what your rule is going to be equal to. Alright, so we have that. And then finally combine your results in 10 and 12, make a conjecture about what happens when it's k to the x. Well, you're going to take basically the k. Now it says for any integer, so it could be positive or negative. If it was negative, it would be a negative k plus that. But just take whatever k is and add it to the log of x. So if it's positive, you'll add it and it'll add on. If it's negative, it'll take that and subtract, basically off in a sense. Alright, those are your basic properties there. So now we're going to take this to tables and let's apply some of the rules here to get the log of 40,000 all the way out to 4 decimal spots. So log of 40,000, I think you know we can break up into 4 times 10,000. So that's going to be equal to the log of 10,000 plus the log of 4. Which means I get the whole number, 4 decimal spots there, so 4 there, plus, and the piece from there, log of 4 is 6021. So my final answer, 4.6021. And if you use your calculator, you will find that to be true. Do the same now on this one, log of point that. Well, I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. So this is going to be log of 10 to the negative 6 times 4. So basically a negative 6 plus the 0.6021. But it's a negative 6, so don't go tell me it's negative 6 point that. The answer turns out to be negative 5.3979. So you're going to apply many of these in class tomorrow, and we'll figure it out. There's a nice little summary piece here at the bottom. It talks to all your basic pieces again, so I would note that, star that up, and good luck. We'll see you in class.